Come on.
I'm being a D. I'll be a D, and I'll take the D.
He deserved it. Now, back to Steiny and Guru on 95.7 The Game.
Willard and Dibs in the house.
You don't mind if I laugh, do you, Steiny?
No, it's what I do with you a lot.
Yeah.
Guru's ready to keep this thing together.
And run it back, right?
He might be right.
Run it back.
He might be right.
What do you think about this stat? I'm just going to throw this at you.
Right.
This year, the Warriors, against teams that are below 500, okay, they're 25-5. Teams that are 500 or better, they're 18-30. Now, how can you reasonably expect the Warriors to climb back up next year with the same team when they can't beat good teams this year?
Real quick before the guys step in.
Let me guess, Draymond.
No doubt about it. I would say how many games, 50. Did they take place where Dre was available? I'm not being an advocate for bringing it back, but I'm looking around Willard, and like you said, the answer may not be in the building, but I'm like, man, TJD's emerged. Kuminga, you're not going to make this Wiggins thing work. Clay's coming back. I just feel that, and I could understand if he didn't, Will, but I'm gearing myself up for if Dre didn't get suspended, this team would have 5 to 7 more wins, and Dibs, if you put on the standings on ESPN, they would be a 4th or 5th seed. And I just wonder if management's looking at it like that. If they try to go big, shout out Tom Hanks, and they can't get a deal.
If we made the two of you a betting line, right?
Go ahead.
Guru's over here with Run It Back. Steiny's over here with That's Ridiculous. Steiny would be a favorite.
No doubt.
Steiny would be a favorite, but I don't know that you're right. And what if I countered with why do we need to know that now? I still think that, like Scott Osler said this, I don't know if it was on Twitter in the Chronicle, he said belief is free.
Because
today.
So I like that.
Goo has been influenced by the last 3 or 4 weeks.
If you've watched Warrior basketball, you've gotten influenced by something you saw the night before at least 5 times this year and been wrong.
Let me be clear. It's not me.
What do you mean?
I've made clear, I'm looking at it like Joe Lacob. And my feeling is, if the Golden State Warriors get ousted in the play-in game, that Joe Lacob will not run it back. I just don't think he will.
I agree with you.
He may have options he doesn't like, but I just think of Joe Lacob, and he's going to say, 2 years ago we were the 3rd seed. Last year we were the 6th seed. This year we were the 10th seed. You know what, though? I'm going to double down on it and run it back. And I think Draymond will be able to keep his nose clean, and Wiggins will be more, and maybe that's the path of least resistance. He just doesn't seem like that guy to me. Like, I don't view Joe Lacob as a guy who's necessarily afraid to make a transition that we all know is probably going to happen in the next year or 2 or 3.
I just wonder what that looks like, though.
I do, too.
Because you got Draymond for 3 more years, and you've got Wiggins for 3 more years, and you've got Clay, who's up. And if you don't re-sign Clay, then he walks for nothing, and Chris Paul's going to be gone, and you can't replace him either. And I know you're just trying to get below the tax and get underneath. I think it's $172 million is the number of the first threshold. So how do you do it? If you don't completely blow it up, you trade Wiggins and you trade Draymond and you let Clay walk and you let CP3 walk, then you kind of run it back almost by default because you have Draymond and you have Wiggins. So maybe it's Clay 2 for 50, and then does that mean you run it back if you bring back Clay? Probably. Is that what running it back looks like?
I think run it back looks like that, yes.
So you bring back Clay for whatever number,
Yep.
and Chris is gone, but you keep Wiggins, you keep Draymond, and you use your plucky little second-round pick on whatever you can get and hope you strike gold again.
I think that's running it back.
And I think that's more likely than the idea of blowing it up for me.
Maybe we're like defining this more than we should or even can. In other words, what if I said to you, they're already not running it back? They've already experimented with Klay Thompson on the bench. They've already inserted Jonathan Kuminga you can't call him the big three anymore unless you think Jonathan Kuminga is the fourth best player on the team. Most don't. He's not the fourth most important player on the team anymore, is he?
Well, when you say important, that triggers something with me.
Okay, but I mean,
and I know it's semantics,
right?
But I think as long as the big three are on the team, they'll always be the most important. Again, let's move on.
Right, Andrew Wiggins fits into this somehow. In other words, the team is evolving already, right in front of our eyes, and would continue to need to do that.
Correct,
and it would every year. So. It's not so much run it back as I just think the easier way to say it, are the changes big or small? Are the changes next year? Because it changes every year.
Because Joe Lacob said they were going to be.
They were to be big.
Yeah.
But, and then the other question, like, what if they come out of the tournament?
I'd call Wiggins a big change. If they re-sign Clay, Chris Paul walks, and they trade Wiggins, and they might have to attach something to Wiggins, maybe a couple picks. I mean, we don't have to discuss it this way, but I would think, because he's a champion. He was a part of the championship core and a very important player. So when you say big changes, I would put Wiggins' trade as a big change.
Was last year a big change?
What'd they do?
Traded Jordan Poole, also part of the
Good question. I guess the answer would be yes.
Yeah, see, but to me, it didn't feel that way.
I don't
because it felt like it was going to happen, like no matter what. Right. That was not a shock to see him trade.
It wasn't a shock, but isn't it like? Does this year feel like they went? Okay, we're going a new direction. I'd argue no.
Well, I think they went in an old direction.
And I think the same thing's going to happen next year, even if you removed Wiggins and brought in some other pieces. Like as long as Steph, Clay, and Draymond, and now the upcoming Kuminga, that's the core. If that's what's still the core, then that's not major changes to me.
I do think that last year they won a title, then last year happened, and at some point during the year they said we've got to we got to make a decision on Poole and or Draymond. They both can't be here, right? And so that's the decision they made there. They chose Draymond over Poole, and there were other factors. But I think maybe this offseason they'll say, well, we've kind of got one of those this year, not to the extent, but Kuminga and Wiggins. Like, we got to figure out something to do with one of those guys. Like, that would be a move that, I don't know if it would be huge or not, but that would be a legitimate move to me if they come off Kuminga or Wiggins.
What do you guys think about this? Steve Kerr said, very, very clearly yesterday, this team is better than last year's team. In every facet. So if coming out of last year, it stood to reason for all of us to quote unquote sort of run it back because 6th seed, won a round, okay, you were in the mix, you were in the conference semifinals. But this year, do we buy that? Is this team better than last year? And if it is, then why would you be more forceful of the idea of major change this offseason as opposed to last offseason?
I think
because you're getting older. Because
they're going to win more. Even their seed is worse, but they're going to win more games.
Right. But you probably won't go as far as you did last year.
Probably.
And when you get to October, all these pieces are going to be 1 year older, and you're not going to have Chris Paul, who's been a good, solid reserve for you. He's going to be gone, and you replace him with who knows what. Is it Quinones or the next Corey Joseph? I don't even know. So this team maybe is better, but the big memo for me is that the West around you is also better.
Yeah,
so you're better, but the conference around you is better. So whether or not you're actually better now, will you be better in October? Who knows? But you're getting older, and the rest of the conference is getting younger.
They're also really, as we all know, this conversation weaves its way to, okay, fine, make changes. What's even available?
Exactly.
And what's even available?
That's been my thing all day.
I don't even know what the hell's available.
Well, I think of a movie I just saw over the weekend, Dazed and Confused.
You just saw it for the first time?
No, I've seen it a million times.
Okay, so what prompted you to want to watch it again?
Susan hadn't seen it for a long time.
Oh, wow.
I'm always in for it.
It's a good one.
It is good. It is good.
You weren't just partaking for Saturday night. Let's
it's kind of what we did.
Right.
Sometimes
he wanted to see Dunes too. He golfed. He was tired. He didn't see the movie.
Fiesta.
The Warriors are like Wooderson. they keep getting older, and everybody else keeps staying the same.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
Let me do the, you're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ, FM, and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Don't do that, whoever did it.
I love that.
Why?
I'm ready.
About as big a distraction your boy could ever have.
I knew you're a professional. Sometimes I feel like testing you.
Where did I hear that recently, though? We were just
Warriors,
talking about
Tim Roy on the broadcast.
Tim Roy is doing that?
Open, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I owe you two an apology. Steiny doesn't know this. I hope he doesn't get jealous.
You probably don't, but go ahead.
I sent you and Dibs a giant text. I created a thread you guys are a part of if you don't know. And I got Butch and Bonte and Lubman on one. So I get away from Steiny sometimes. And I was never worried about the Giants. But what I overlooked watching yesterday's game was forget the 4 and 6 in right field. And I saw your tweet about right field, the production or their lack of right now. The rat on the table is the stadium has been packed since Friday. So
it's a big
I
deal.
know it's early, but that is a big deal because we've been throwing rocks at them, rightfully so, over the couple years where nobody's coming. Where are they at? But I know it's early and only a 3-game set. But Dibs, that was old. I'm watching the game and I'm like, dude, they're sticking there. It's early, but that's got to be a good feeling for the Giants organization to be like, people came out to see us. Just my 2 cents.
They matched last year's number of sellouts already?
Yeah.
That's wow.
That's pretty freaking crazy.
It's
Dude,
great.
that's early.
And so a couple takeaways on that. We can get into all the baseball, but everybody out there who does not like Farhan Zaidi, today's a bad day for you because his bosses are happy with him today.
Now, I have
Because that was the goal. And I hate saying that because I know what we want the goal to be.
Yeah.
We want the goal to be, hey, I don't know, like be good. Be a good team, be exciting. And there were moments, and what your text was about is, all these changes. The lineup still scores 2 runs and then tries to get a third in the 9th inning.
4 is their lucky number.
And so it was not, what'd they score this weekend? 6 runs in 3 games?
Right.
Like they still
2 wins.
Still can't hit.
Yep.
Or maybe this is the ballpark again. There weren't many
You're
runs
playing
scored
the Padres and Dodgers a couple of times.
Well, the Padres didn't score any runs either. Like Profar snuck one by the foul pole and whatever. Bottom line is, though, that was actually what they were trying to do this offseason. That's why their drum beat from above was coming, was because the stadium was starting to empty.
Yeah. And Blake Snell tonight, so you would expect a big crowd again. I don't know if it'll be a sellout on a Monday night, but you would expect a big crowd, 35,000 at least. I mean, I would expect 35.
Spring break.
Spring break.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
cold.
No.
It's cold out there.
No,
I
it's
just
chilly
walked here for 20 minutes in a short sleeve shirt.
Well, you built up a lot of body warmth. You're not. These people are going to be sitting in the stands. Yeah. They're not going to have the luxury of a 2-mile walk to warm them up.
Even though I'm down about 17 pounds, still quietly not cold in this weather. Over the weekend and last week, really cold because you get skinnier and you start getting colder. But today, absolutely beautiful out there, Steiny. It's going to be a lovely night.
Maybe it's I come in real early to prep for the show, a few hours.
Grinder.
And that's probably
6 a.m.
It was probably nippier than when Goo came in 3 minutes before the show.
Dibs, the streets are saying you had a good day on the links.
Not bad. Good early and then, leaking oil a little bit late. 86, which is right where my...
No, that is...
Thank you. Hello, friends. My handicap would indicate that's what I should shoot, even though I haven't played in weeks. Okay. So it was kind of good to come back and be able to move the ball around.
People, I want to say that this take 2 seconds on this. It'll be more than 2 seconds, but like 20. The handicap is not what you're supposed to shoot.
Correct.
It's what you're supposed to shoot when you're at your best.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. So, like, if you hit your handicap, that means you played well.
Yeah, played well.
Yeah, you played well. So
Had
good
about
for you.
4 or 5 putts that burned the lip, as we like to say.
What's the matter, Go?
No, why would your handicap be anything other than when you're at your best?
Your handicap is your average of your top 50% of your scores.
Right.
Okay.
So over 20 scores, the handicap only looks at 10, your best 10. And then your handicap is based on that because you use it in tournaments where you're playing up against other people. So in order to beat them, you need to play well. You can't just play sort of okay and then beat everybody because you're getting strokes. Does that make sense?
No, it
completely.
Did I do okay with that?
You did great. Right. So my handicap on this course was a 13, which means I should shoot an 85 and I shot an 86.
If he's playing well.
If I'm playing well.
If he's playing well.
And I played pretty well. Yeah.
So if I come across a guy and I wonder if I'm better than Steiny at golf, and he gives me his handicap that has no. We still got to go battle, but it can tell me something.
Handicap
he's been more consistent or better.
No, handicap is a way to tell the difference among players.
Right.
Assuming everybody keeps it pretty fair.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so Mark is like an 8 handicap. So if he and I, well, yeah, whatever. When you're playing, you play to an 8. But if we were to play and we were to play for money, and I'm a 14 and he's an 8,
I need to give him
he's giving me 6
strokes.
shots.
Yeah, 3 strokes a set.
3 shots per 9. Yeah,
something like that.
That's why.
Which is why we don't play.
Which is,
Okay,
but it's also why.
and this guy's the worst because
that is
I'm an
crazy.
8, I'm rusty, and then you watch him play. It's like, dude, he's legit.
Right,
If he actually played as much as Steiny did, he'd probably be a 3.
But it's also why
one time in this calendar year.
Totally.
I could play against Tiger Woods with the handicap and have a shot because the handicaps are used to theoretically split it right down the middle, make it 50-50.
Plus, he'd leave after 14 holes.
So I'm a 14 and he's a -5 or 6 probably.
Yeah.
At least.
So he'd have to give me 20 strokes. So that means if I shot an 86, which with Dibs shot yesterday, which would be pretty good, he's got to shoot a 66. Otherwise, I win.
I need you to do me a huge favor.
And on that course, he would.
But then you got also 62.
Dude, for sure.
I'm not shooting an 86 if Tiger's my partner.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
You'd be terrified.
It'd make it so much harder.
How many holes? This is the only time I played Pebble Beach in my life. It took me, thank you, it took me until the 12th hole before I stopped shaking.
Wow.
I couldn't play.
Yeah.
I couldn't be, because you're just overwhelmed by the views and the history, and you're just like, good Lord. And so I couldn't hit the ball the way I normally would hit it until it took me about 12 holes to just calm down. Imagine if you were playing with Tiger.
I mean, with all those thousands
It happens
of
when
people
it
out there.
throws with Tiger.
I started on 14 when I played Pebble and promptly hit 2 into Jim Nance's yard.
Oh, good.
Hello,
Look
friends.
at him.
Yeah.
Did you call him and get the balls back?
I should have.
You should have.
Hey, Jim, I'm looking for a Shrixon 4.
I gave Steiny my Masters pick, Scheffler plus 475. I don't know why, Scotty.
Yeah.
Now, why does that bother me?
Because it seems too easy.
Because he's got no idea what he's talking about.
Dude,
That's why it
I
bothers
think you're
you.
right.
And I told him that before. I'm hot right now.
How many golfers could you name right now?
5.
Okay. That's honest.
Yeah.
And Scheffler's one of them.
Scheffler's one
Who
of them.
else?
Okay.
We'll give you women, too.
Oh,
So you could say like
Get your
Lydia
own
Ko.
women.
no.
Anyway, go ahead.
No, I don't like being on the spot like this. No, seriously.
Hello,
Okay,
friend.
That's fine.
But yet you consider yourself a clutch player.
I am. I didn't like this. There's no win for the goo in it. I'm either
Third
butcher a
person.
name.
Yeah.
I'm growing. I'm learning,
I
Willard.
think you're going to hit the ball.
I think there's no less is more right now, Goo.
I think 2 weeks from today, you're going to hit
Okay.
the ball great
I'm looking
on
forward to
that
it.
opening shot.
I'm
you're
looking
gonna
forward to
fire
it.
that
Oh, that's
thing
in
right
2
down the
weeks?
middle.
Yeah, the
2 weeks from today.
22nd.
Okay.
22nd.
Nice.
Up at Stone Tree in Nevada.
My mom's 80th birthday, by the way. I want you to think about that when you want to honor her 80th birthday with that shot
Dude,
right down the
look at
middle.
you. I
There
will
you go.
do that.
Why don't you come up to the Stone Tree that day and
Yeah.
we'll celebrate
I
it.
wish I could.
It's got
We got a
great-
show to do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's got great facilities.
Oh, I know Stone Tree. That's
Yeah.
on the circuit for the high school teams. So they get
So
to play
who
there
does
every
that
year.
for the
It's actually-
Masters
it's
when
nice.
I'm doing
It's
the
really nice.
ceremonial shot? I didn't even know that. That's not for big tournaments like that.
No, they actually,
it is.
in Augusta, at the Masters on Thursday, it'll be the ceremonial first tee shot, which will be Jack Nicklaus this
Oh,
year.
please.
Wow.
4, please. It'll be
Jack
Jack
Nicklaus,
Nicklaus
now driving.
and Gary Player. And I think Tom Watson's now been added to the Troika ever since we lost Arnold Palmer.
Okay.
So I think it's Player, Nicklaus, and Tom Watson,
Okay.
if memory serves.
Sounds right.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's going to be at like 5:15 in the morning our time Thursday as the Masters gets underway.
Well, who you want to give your pick now? Do you have anybody?
All eyes on Jordan Spieth.
Okay.
I think
Ooh.
Jordan Spieth,
That
and
would be
I'm looking further
fantastic.
down the board. McIlroy, a lot of buzz about McIlroy. I'm in a thing called the Cowboy Masters. I don't know if you. I think you get that email.
I get
It's
the
like
email.
You should get in. It's I mean,
What's the Cowboy about?
the Cowboy Masters is just a pool where you pick like as many golfers as you want based on like each golfer has a salary. Scotty Scheffler is an $80 player, and you have $200 in your salary cap to spend. So you can go big on like 2 or 3 big boys, or you can sprinkle further down the board, which is what I've chosen to do this year. Spieth and sprinkle. Spieth and sprinkle.
So which players are not? Give me
I'm twice.
I like that.
Give me 5 guys who aren't playing in the Masters because of LIV.
Oh, they're all playing. If they
everybody's
can.
playing?
Well, if they've qualified, yeah.
13, I think.
Live golfers, yeah.
Live
Kepka's
golfers.
in.
Tiger?
Koepka for
Tiger's
sure.
in.
Obviously.
Tiger,
Rahm.
let's go.
John Rahm.
DeChambeau.
Tiger's
Bubba
like-
Watson.
Will he make the cut, Tiger?
Well, that's
Phil.
That's the sad part about Tiger.
That's where we're at now. Will he make the cut?
That's
know
his
that
goal
if
is
he-
to make the cut.
Well, if he makes the cut, he breaks the record. 25th consecutive
Kind of like
Masters
the Warriors
cut
in the
made.
10th seed.
I want him to catch
No one's ever
Jack.
done that.
I just did.
Consecutive?
Consecutive.
Well, because didn't he withdraw last year?
But he made the cut, and then he withdrew.
Oh, gotcha.
So if I told you, gave you a bet right now, will he catch Jack? I don't know why that meant something to us in the streets.
Hell no.
No chance.
That's over.
No chance.
Well, it's not over because I have a bet, and the guy will not pay me because
It's not over yet.
it's not.
I
over
mean, it's
yet.
not technically
So how far
over.
is he off?
Way far.
One.
It was over
No,
under.
he's one tournament away.
Steiny's bet was over under 1.5 golf majors. And it was
Okay.
a bet
That's
made about 7 years ago.
Right.
And when Tiger won at Augusta,
Augusta.
Wow.
It was
Well,
trouble.
that is probably also completely absurd, but
I know.
certainly more doable than catching Jack. He's still 4 short of Jack.
Okay, all right. Okay.
3 short, 4 to
is
be
it 3?
four to
No,
pass him. He's
4
got
to pass
15.
him. Yes,
Yep.
yes.
No,
4
then
to pass
that,
him.
yeah.
3 to tie.
Man.
And the only one he can really win is the Masters. He can't win the other ones. The
And
courses
that's
are too
because,
tough.
okay, all right.
The U.S. Open's too tough.
St. Andrews. I'd give him a
Right.
puncher's chance at St. Andrews only when
And I
it's
think
there.
that would be next year.
Okay.
I think it's every
Well, wait a
5
minute.
years, I thought.
No, I think they just played St. Andrews recently, and now it was going to be his last time because the next
I think
the
you might
next
be
one's
right.
in
Yeah,
2028.
yeah.
He's like,
Okay.
well, I'm not going to be here.
Okay.
Something
I'm
like
gonna
that.
give you
I think you're right.
Johnson.
It was 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2022.
Okay.
So he's okay. He's got it. Yeah.
No,
Man.
technically, I don't lose the bet, or I don't win the bet until he dies. In
Well,
theory.
Yeah.
I mean-
or retires.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even if he retires. Didn't Tom Watson almost win the Open Championship when he was like almost 60?
59, yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah.
59,
I
dude.
played that course 2 weeks later at Turnberry.
How'd you do?
I had the same putt that he had.
And?
Mine was for double bogey.
Did he go in?
No, of course not. It's like a
Cheers.
95. That course is brutal.
What fit did you have on yesterday? Shorts.
Yeah, just the
did.
usual. I'm not a big fit guy.
No, he's not.
Just whatever shorts, and I had
love it.
He
had
has
a
never-
lightweight hoodie on because it was a little cold in the morning. We teed off
right.
about 7:45.
know
Never
what-
been a big fit guy.
You know what he's got vibes of right now? And I didn't run this by him
Yeah.
before the show, but
Okay.
this may hurt. You see these Andrew Dice Clay videos where he goes up to people and he goes, "Are you the one who wanted the picture?" And he's got those
That's
big,
a force,
he's got
Sonny.
those big glasses
Oh yeah,
on.
yeah.
You went with the big sunglasses all around.
Oh yeah.
I love
With the
it.
beanie.
Yeah, the
amazing.
video.
It's when you're
It's
bald,
amazing.
you get
Life.
cold. Skinny and
Yeah,
bald
I
does
got
not
you.
lead to being warm. That's all.
All right. Well,
It's all
We'll be
brought to you by
listening.
Great Clip.
All right, gents.
all right.
We believe, and again, belief is free.
That is great, Scott.
We believe that Michael Conforto will be on the show today.
Forts.
Wow.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
His name Forts? I had never heard that before.
I thought you were going to say, when you said Michael, I thought, oh, Dunleavy.
Yeah, no.
We get the guy who's
Yep.
hitting dingers.
There you go.
195.7.